Hey, welcome to Models and Agents, Episode 2 for February 27th, 2026, your daily briefing on the AI models and agents that are changing everything. And no, not those kinds of models and agents. Let's get into it. Sakana AI launches Doc-to-LoRA and Text-to-LoRA hypernetworks for zero-shot LLM adaptation to long context via natural language. Whoa, if that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. Imagine tweaking your large language models on the fly with just a document or a quick text prompt. No endless fine-tuning sessions required. This is the kind of innovation that could seriously shake up how we build adaptive AI systems. Stick around as we dive into this and more from today's briefing. All right, let's hit the highlights in what you need to know. Sakana AI just dropped Doc-to-LoRA and Text-to-LoRA, these clever hypernetworks that let you adapt LLMs instantly to long contexts and new tasks using plain natural language. It's like getting the best of in-context learning's flexibility without the usual efficiency hits from fine-tuning. Meanwhile, OpenAI and Amazon teamed up to bring OpenAI's frontier platform into AWS, supercharging AI agents and custom models. And we've got fresh RxIV papers on multi-agent setups like Claw Mobile for smartphone agents and Hyper Agent for smarter team communication. This week, keep your eyes on how these boost agentic workflows, especially in finance and mobile. Real wins for developers scaling adaptive systems. It's all about making AI more practical and less of a headache. Okay, on to the top story. And folks, this one's got me genuinely pumped. Sakana AI unveiled Doc-to-LoRA and Text-to-LoRA today. Two hypernetworks that basically let you customize large language models in zero-shot fashion, right from natural language inputs or even full documents. Hypernetworks, if you're not familiar, are like meta models that generate other models or adapters on demand. Here they're cranking out LoRA adapters, those low-rank adaptation modules that fine-tune without messing with the whole model, straight from text or docs. The big win? It sidesteps the old trade-offs. In-context learning is flexible, but forgets stuff fast and chews through tokens, while supervised fine-tuning, SFT, is efficient but needs tons of data and retraining time. These new tools amortize those costs, meaning you pay once to set up the hypernetwork, then adapt instantly for tasks like handling super long contexts that blow past standard token limits. Compared to stuff like Context Distillation or plain SFT, this cuts way down on engineering grunt work. If you've been wrestling with models like Llama or Mistral in RAG pipelines, retrieval augmented generation, where you pull in external info to boost responses, this could be a lifesaver for dynamic personalization. Think code generation or long-form reasoning where context overflow kills your vibe. Developers, you can now experiment with quick, low-cost tweaks for task-specific agents. And yeah, it's potentially handling context way beyond what we're used to, making apps more responsive without breaking the bank on compute. Practical takeaway: if you're building anything with adaptive LLMs, start poking at this. Sakana AI's approach might spawn open source implementations soon, so test it on those bottleneck tasks. My honest take: this feels like a real efficiency breakthrough, but we'll see how stable these hypernetworks hold up across different model architectures in the wild. Just when you thought fine-tuning couldn't get any lazier, in the best way, here we are. Exciting stuff, right? It reminds me how fast this field moves. Blink and you've got a new way to bend models to your will. Shifting gears to model updates, where things are heating up with some fresh launches and research. First off, Perplexity just rolled out the Perplexity Computer, this unified system that bundles search, reasoning, and generation into one slick interface. It's betting big on users needing to mix and match AI capabilities for tricky tasks, unlike the more isolated setups in ChatGPT or Claude. What stands out? Seamless switching between models like GPT variants or Llama, with better context handling and lower latency. If you're a practitioner juggling multi-model workflows, this could slash your integration time and costs. No more hopping between apps. That said, it's still tied to proprietary backends, so watch for vendor lock-in if you're all about open ecosystems. Next, that OpenAI and Amazon partnership announcement. Big news for enterprise folks. They're integrating OpenAI's frontier platform directly into AWS, covering custom models, AI agents, and beefed up infrastructure for inference and fine-tuning. This goes beyond simple API calls. Think optimized deployments on AWS hardware with quantization for efficiency, and even edge support for running models closer to the data. It compares well to Azure's OpenAI integrations, but leverages Amazon's pricing edge. If you're an enterprise, this means easier scaling for agentic apps like those multi-step automations. Downsides, you're locked into the AWS world, and there might be those alignment guardrails OpenAI loves. Still, it's a practical boost for anyone deploying at scale. Rounding out models, there's this RxIV paper on ParamM, a parametric memory module that encodes reflection patterns for LLMs. It generates diverse self-reflections and plugs into something called Param Agent for stuff like code gen and math reasoning. It beats baselines like reflection by enabling weak-to-strong transfer, meaning smaller models learn from bigger ones efficiently without needing external help, and it's sample efficient too. For builders, this ups agent reliability in iterative tasks, but you'll need fine-tuning skills, and it could add some inference overhead. This fits into the bigger trend of making models more reflective and self-improving, which is huge for long-term autonomy. Whew, just when you thought you'd caught up on memory tricks, here's another layer. Now let's talk agent and tool developments. These are the bits that let you actually build and deploy autonomous systems. Kicking off with Claw Mobile from an RxIV update. It's a hierarchical framework for LLM-based agents right on smartphones, splitting high-level reasoning from those nitty-gritty deterministic controls. This handles the mess of mobile environments like fragmented interfaces and states that change on a dime, way better than cloud-heavy agents like AutoGPT. The open-sourced implementation shines for browser automation or on-device code gen, and it's stable even in constraints. If you're into mobile AI, clone that GitHub repo today and test on an Android emulator for task automation. It's a cool step toward truly native agents, and my enthusiasm is real here. Imagine your phone handling complex workflows without phoning home constantly. Then there's the new stateful runtime environment for agents in Amazon Bedrock, powered by OpenAI models. This adds persistent orchestration, memory, and secure execution for multi-step workflows with tool calling and function integration. It improves on stateless LangChain setups by throwing in episodic memory, basically remembering across sessions, which is perfect for long horizon tasks in finance or automation. Access it via AWS SDKs right now, though it's Bedrock only for models. This is accessible if you're in the AWS ecosystem, and it's a practical upgrade for anyone tired of agents forgetting midway through a job. Finally, HyperAgent from another RxIV paper. It leverages hypergraphs and a variational autoencoder to optimize communication topologies in multi-agent LLM systems dynamically. That means it adapts to task complexity, cutting token use by 25% on benchmarks like GSM 8000 while bumping accuracy. Better than graph-based methods in Crew AI. For scalable group collaboration like multi-agent RAG or reasoning, grab the GitHub code and experiment. It's novel and efficient, and yeah, I'm geeking out a bit because this could make agent teams way more cost-effective without sacrificing smarts. Diving into practical and community now, where we spotlight stuff you can tinker with immediately. First up, Agent Behavioral Contracts, or ABC, from an RxIV paper. This framework sets formal specs like preconditions, invariants, and recovery mechanisms to enforce reliable agent behavior implemented in Agent Assert for runtime checks. It tackles drift in agent chains, hitting 88-100% compliance on benchmarks with minimal overhead, outpacing uncontracted baselines. Solves a common pain point if your agents go off script. Integrate Agent Assert into your LangGraph workflows today. It's best with frontier models, but tunable for smaller ones. Super useful for production reliability. Then Long CLI Bench, a fresh dataset from RxEV with 20 long horizon tasks for testing agentic programming in command line interfaces. It focuses on metrics like fail to pass and pass to pass for code gen and debugging, exposing limits in agents like AutoGen. SOTA models score under 20% success on complex workflows. Download it to benchmark and tweak your CLI agents. You'll need solid prompt engineering, but it's a great way to level up. And don't miss this hierarchical LLM-based multi-agent framework for multi-robot task planning, also from RxIV. It uses co-attention and meta prompts for optimization, nailing 95% success on compound tasks and beating Llama P by up to 15 points. Perfect for decomposition in ambiguous missions. Try it in robotics simulations. It's open source, though compute heavy for big teams. These community contributions are gold. They address underrated issues like reliability and long tasks, making AI building less overwhelming. All right, things to try this week. Let's make this actionable. If you haven't dabbled in Doc-to-LoRA from Sakana AI yet, this is your cue. Adapt Llama models to long documents for zero-shot personalization. It's a fast test for RAG experiments without full fine-tuning. Explore the stateful runtime in Amazon Bedrock for persistent agents. Hook it up with open AI models to prototype multi-step finance workflows and check out that memory retention. If mobile AI calls to you, hit up ClawMobile's open source repo, run it on a smartphone emulator for browser task automation, and feel those stability gains over basic AutoGPT. Compare HyperAgent against Crew AI for multi-agent communication. Use the RXIV code on GSM 8000 to track token savings and accuracy in group reasoning. And test agent behavioral contracts with Agent Assert on your chains. Enforce invariance in a simple Lang chain project to spot drift early, especially for production. Looking ahead in On the Horizon, watch for open source releases of Sakana AI's hypernetworks. They might integrate with Hugging Face for smoother LLM adaptation. Expect beta expansions of Perplexity Computer, possibly adding support for custom agent tools. Anticipate more ARXIV follow-ups on benchmarks like Long CLI Bench, with community fine-tunes for models like Mistral or Quen. And look out for AWS updates on the OpenAI partnership, including pricing for frontier platform inference. It's building anticipation for even more accessible tools. Before we go, tomorrow, keep an eye on potential open source drops from Sakana AI that could make hypernetwork adaptations a breeze for everyday developers. That's Models and Agents for February 27th, 2026. If you found this useful, share it with someone who's trying to keep up with all these changes, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's update. The AI world moves fast. We'll help you keep up. See you tomorrow.